Bienvenidos, chicos. Thank you so much for being here on another episode of Latino World Travelers Virtual Travel Party. I cannot wait to present to you the episode that we have today. We have another Latina who's breaking barriers out there, and we have Marisol. She's going to talk to us about Canada, exploring the true north. So we talk about United States of being the north, but Canada is the true north. She lives there for about 10 years, so she has a vast experience in everything related to Canada. So we cannot wait. Thank you so much, Marisol, for being here.
Thank you, Vane. This is a great opportunity to share with the Latino community. Hola a todos. It's also a great opportunity to share with people looking to travel abroad, move abroad. So I look forward to this conversation. And like you said, this is the true north. So just sharing some of my experiences, some of the places to visit, see, and even, you never know, maybe you want to move here to Canada. So yeah, this is going to be super exciting. This is actually my first live. Yes. So yeah. Yes.
I actually have an uncle who lives there
in Toronto.
Oh, really?
Really?
So you get to see him a lot?
I went once only, but to see him. But I've been to Canada about 4 times. I actually did a road trip all the way to Nova Scotia.
Oh, wow.
From New York, yes. So that was a fantastic trip. So tell me, where do you live? Why did you move to Canada?
So I live in Alberta, which is kind of up north to the west side of Canada. I live in a city, I live in Edmonton. Well, not really in Edmonton, it's called Parkland County, but it's about 35 minutes from Edmonton, which is the capital city of Alberta. I have been here for, I think now 10 years, more than 10 years. And, the reason why I moved here, there's many reasons. I met my soon-to-be husband, actually. Next week, we're actually getting married. We're having a micro wedding in the middle of this pandemic. But I met him years ago, and then one thing led to the other. I also wanted to come back to, I was looking for opportunities to study more. So I figured, it would be a good opportunity for me to move to Canada and pursue more education. So again, I met him, and then one thing led to the other. And it's been, like I said, more than 10 years now. And it's a wonderful country. I mean, I haven't had the chance to be all over Canada. It's such a huge country. There's so much to see. But I've been lucky enough to, spend quite a bit of time here in Alberta to see what this province offers. And also, seeing what British Columbia, which is our neighboring province. So it's been great, being able to get to see these new provinces. And I have my bucket list. And of course, one of the things I would love to do is a road trip across Canada. So we'll see someday. I mean, this year might not be the best year to actually do that. But it's one of the things that I do have, planned, hopefully, sooner than later. Yeah.
Yes. I have that plan for the United States, and I did it last month.
Oh, that's awesome. So you went through the entire country?
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
From California to New Jersey. Yes, back home.
That is amazing. And I think you get to see so much when you actually do a road trip versus flying. I feel like you can stop whenever you want. You can, check the local spots. You get to meet some people. So I do believe that the experience of, doing a road trip versus flying, sometimes, personally, I like road trips better. I think you get to see way more.
Yes, absolutely. Someone said, I think there is not more work and holidays for Canada. Is it true? He's from Argentina. Or she, Alma.
What did she say? That there's more work than holidays here?
There is not more work and holidays for Canada. She's like, I really want to go to Canada for work.
Oh, yeah. You know what? I guess in terms of opportunities, if you want to come to Canada, whether you want to study or, move here permanently, for work purposes. It's amazing. I mean, I can't complain. This is my second home. So I feel that people here are super welcoming. This is like a melting pot. We have people from, I mean, all over the world. So it makes you feel comfortable. And I think if you're looking to definitely get more experience and so on, then this is a country that, you know, you could look for sure for that matter. Yeah.
Yes. And you have today a whole bunch of pictures you're going to show us about your experiences in Canada.
Yes.
So tell us, what are you going to introduce us to? And we want to see.
Absolutely. So I think, like I mentioned, I live in Alberta, and I mean, Alberta is home to some of the most beautiful, spectacular places in the world and in Canada too. So I want to talk to you guys about Banff, which I'm sure you have seen in pictures, Jasper National Park as well. I mean, those are UNESCO sites. And even when you get to see pictures from Canada, you always run into the typical picture of Lake Louise in Banff or Moraine Lake, Maling Lake in Jasper. So I want to cover that, take you guys to the mountains, but I also want to take you guys to the opposite side, which is Drumheller, and kind of talk about the Badlands, where many years ago, I guess many years ago, there used to be dinosaurs, and now there's a beautiful museum that you can go to if you're interested in fossils and dinosaurs and all that. So, and then I do have my list. I wanted to keep track of all the places that I wanted to mention today, but those are probably some of the highlights.
Yeah.
And then, of course, I guess as the conversation goes, I'm sure I'll think about a few more. But yeah, so I don't know. Do you want to start with some pictures?
Absolutely. Let's do this.
Perfect. So I'm just going to share screen. So I guess we'll start with Banff. And like I said before, Banff is it's a beautiful national park. It's actually from Edmonton will be about 5 hours. And then from Calgary, it could be 2 hours maybe, or less than that. The beautiful thing about Banff is that, you know, it has such a vibrant downtown area. So there's a lot of shops and great restaurants, and you know, if you like souvenirs, you can shop for souvenirs. The other thing too is, I mean, depending on what you stay in Banff, you can go camping, you can go hiking, skiing, etc. So I guess to give you guys some background, definitely Banff is I will say one of the most visited places in Alberta, and even in Canada. You know, especially in the summer months, you see a lot of people coming to Banff. One of the things I will say about Banff is that, you know, you never get tired of it. Every time you go to this park, you spot new wildlife. The mountains are just amazing. Some glaciers, lakes, turquoise water. So it is quite impressive. Like I said, you know, I've been going to Banff for many years now, and every time I go, I love it.
What is your favorite season, during the summer or during the winter?
You know what? I love fall. I'm a fall girl.
Oh.
I like summer, and you know, coming from Costa Rica, born and raised in Costa Rica, I know people laugh at me when I say this, but summer, I like it, but I don't love it. I kind of like the fall temperatures. You know, it's kind of mild, and plus I love to see how the, you know, leaves change, and I think it's just such a romantic season. That's just me. But definitely if you come in the summer months, it's beautiful, right? I mean, just being able to see the lakes, the water, and even being able to just connect with nature more so. I would definitely recommend people to come to Canada in the summer. I mean, also, if you want to come in the winter months, if you love skiing, snowboarding, and all that, well, of course, it's great too. But I will say that driving up to those mountains in the middle of the summer, it's something else. Like it's really, really nice. So this picture here, it's called Lake Minnewanka, and it's right there in Banff. Um, this is kind of the only lake, I believe, within the national parks where motorsports are allowed. In
Okay.
some other parks, you don't get to see a lot of like, boats and things like that, only canoeing and so on.
Yes.
But Minnewanka, yes, you do get to see like motor boats, and you can even take a tour across the lake.
Mhm.
It's a fairly large lake, I would say. So you can actually, go around and then you get to see all the peaks, the mountains. So it's quite beautiful. Um, the other picture, let me see if this wants to, there.
Mhm.
That's another, I'll say, staple of Banff. When people come and you run into this hotel that actually takes you back to the 1800s, where the railway tourism used to be quite
Mhm.
up and coming.
Yes.
So this hotel, and I believe I did write it down, it was built in 1888, and it's a super glamorous hotel. I've never stayed there before.
Mhm.
Maybe someday, my bucket list, I
Can
might.
you go in even if you're not staying there?
Yeah, absolutely. Like you can go in. In fact, I believe that, a lot of the people that you see roaming around the hotel, they're actually tourists or even locals just
Mhm.
going in and walking around the hotel and, checking it out, taking pictures. Um, and, it's just amazing. I don't know, like maybe right now the cost of staying there might be less because of the pandemic.
Mhm.
But, I will say that maybe in the summer, staying at this hotel could go between $700,
Mhm.
$1,000, if not more, per night to actually
Mhm.
stay there. So
What is the
it's
name of it?
it's called Fairmont Banff Springs,
Mhm.
and it's like I said, it's just beautiful. It's right there in the town of Banff, and it's historic buildings, so
Yes.
very elegant. Um, kind of takes you back to a different time.
Yes.
Um, yeah, and it has restaurants, and if you go in I think it's the winter, they usually have like some exhibitions for like Christmas and so on. So it is nice to see outside and inside. So if you happen to be in Banff, definitely do go there and make sure that you take pictures. And
Yes.
they have some restaurants within the hotel if you want to eat. And so definitely very, very nice.
Mhm. The Fairmont brand is usually very costly. So you
Yeah,
have to plan ahead if you really want to stay there.
exactly. You have to definitely plan ahead. I don't know right now what they're charging. I've seen, because I've noticed, I've been checking on Expedia and other sites just to see what the cost of staying at these places is around, and I can see that it's not as expensive as it usually is.
Mhm.
And I think it's also associated to the fact that we don't have a lot of people right now flying,
Mhm.
so they're coming up with special rates for locals,
That's
which I
awesome.
think is really smart,
Mhm.
but still pricey. So
Yes.
yeah.
This is the perfect time to explore your own countries and take advantage of the deals.
Absolutely. I think, in fact, uh, I'll say it was in June. I went camping and it was beautiful. It was only locals, not a lot of people, no crowds,
Mhm.
very peaceful. So I think this is definitely the time to explore your own backyard
Mhm.
before you even decide to go and travel abroad.
Where did
Plus,
you go camping?
I went to Kananaskis, and actually, it's part of my list for today. It's
Okay.
Kananaskis country, and it's just a beautiful area of Alberta. Like I have an obsession with the mountains. Don't ask me why, but since I've been here, I think I love the beach and all that. I mean, I will always love the beach. I'm a tropical girl. However, my love for the mountains, I'll say they're there. It's because of course we have mountains in Costa Rica, but the mountains here in Canada, they're a little bit different. So yeah, los dos, montañas, playa, creo que están ahí. Mismo
Sí.
nivel, definitivamente.
Ujú.
Ay, creo que, I think my phone just locked.
No, ya se puso.
Yeah, okay.
Sí.
Um, the other thing, so here, like you can see the Banff, this is Banff's downtown area.
Ujú.
So yeah, it's pretty lively. Like, you know, in the summer months, you see people like strolling around, going for walks, or even
Ujú.
like this people, you know, you can even see people riding horses if you're into that, horseback riding, um, or just taking a, you know, different kind of stroll. So it is very nice. And you know, you can spend so much time there. I mean, I think if you're a foodie, there's a lot
Ujú.
of restaurants that you can go to, very good restaurants. So
Is there one in specific that you recommend?
I think it's called the Bison. I went to that one a few years ago, and I can confirm the name. But it was just amazing food.
Ujú.
I'll say it's more like a 4 or 5 stars like restaurant, but you know, there's restaurants for all budgets, and you know, you'll find your fast food restaurants right there. You can also find like more upscale restaurants. It all depends on what you want.
Ujú.
There's another one, and I don't know the proper pronunciation, but it's called, I think, Tululu's, and it's all like New Orleans food, like
Oh.
Cajun food, and it's amazing. I actually remember I had there some alligator bites, and it was so yummy. It tasted
Mhm.
like chicken.
Yes.
So yeah, no, it's definitely, you know, if you're looking to get to see another side of the parks, then I will highly recommend you go to Banff, vibrant. There's a lot of outdoor activities. There's a lot to, if you want to shop, there's many shops. If you want to go for, you know, nice food, lots of restaurants. So, and then you're also within walking distance to museums and other, you know, attractions. So it won't disappoint for sure. So that's one of my top, you know, places on my list. So I don't
Nice.
know. Yeah.
Very
Any
good.
questions?
They will come up, don't worry.
Yeah. So, and see, you know,
Wow.
if you like hiking, you can find many hikes. Some of them are, you know, I'll say it depends on your level of comfort. Um, I think, I don't know what happened here.
What trail did you have to take that picture? Do you remember?
Um, you know what? It wasn't bad. In fact, there was a trail, so you know you can follow the trails. Usually, they're really well looked after by the government, be it the federal government or the provincial government. So, um, you know, it is definitely. I wouldn't say it was super hard getting up there, but it did require some. You know, at some point, I was just out of out of air because yeah, you keep on going up, and then the oxygen and altitude and all that. But you know, you can always try less harder, I guess, trails, etc. So there's different options, and it all depends on your level of, you know, how comfortable you feel. So this actually is called a Grassy Lakes Trail, and it's not really part of Banff, but it's in a town called Canmore, which is like literally just, you know, before you get to Banff, you run into Canmore.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and, you know, this town Canmore is actually very nice as well. There's less people than if you were to go to Banff. So if you don't feel comfortable with a lot of, you know, crowds and all that, I will recommend that then you may want to see Canmore for sure. Um, and like I said, it's equally beautiful. A lot of outdoor activities, things that you can do. So very, very nice.
Is Canada very, like, the people there, are they very outdoorsy, or do they do other things besides that, like going
I,
out and
you know what? I think it's a combination, but you know, because we have such a long winter, sometimes even like June, you know, June, July. or no, I'll say June, you could see snow, which is crazy. We even had snow sometimes in September. So people try to make the best out of summer. So as soon as they get the chance to be out there, I feel that Canadians can be quite outdoorsy, hiking, skiing, wakeboarding, sailing, quadding. So,
Wow.
so I'll say that they're really active that way. Um, for me, the one thing that I do enjoy and I've come to appreciate since I moved here is, hiking. And I wouldn't say that I'm a pro because I'm not, but every time that I get the chance to maybe go and try a new hike, and maybe little by little start increasing the level of difficulty, I do that, and it's beautiful. You see the wildlife, you connect with nature, and I feel like when you connect with nature, it brings you peace, makes you
Yes.
feel better. So yeah, I think for sure it's
Which animal were you surprised to see in the years that you have going hiking or exploring the wilderness?
this year. I was surprised when I ran into a grizzly bear. Uh,
Wow.
and I think I do have it on my wall, but it was actually kind of Kananaskis country. We were coming back from, hiking, and as I was coming, I saw the fish and wildlife officer, and he kind of told me from afar to like stay there, and I had my camera with me because I always have my camera, and then I saw this grizzly bear, the mom with the cubs,
Oh, wow.
moving. And so he said, don't get in the way, just stay there, go put yourself around that car. And eventually I actually end up jumping with a couple in their car, um, because yeah, the mom was kind of looking at me, and I
Ah,
figured, you know what, this
giving
is
you
not,
that stare, right?
yeah, I figured this is not the time to test, my luck. So um, I did, I went with that couple, and they were, kind enough to take me to the car. And so, yeah, it was kind of scary, but at the same time, it was just so beautiful to see the animal, you know, in her environment. And, you have to admire them. You also have to respect them, not get too close to them or nothing like that. Right.
Hmm.
Um, but yeah, for me, I was like, that's it. I can now be this is the animal that I haven't seen during my time here in Canada. I've seen black bears, but seeing a grizzly bear and the cubs and all that, it was something else.
Wow.
Yeah.
I can imagine. I was, this summer, I was able to see bison by the hundreds.
Oh my
And
God,
that for me was like the highlight. So I can only imagine seeing a grizzly bear. That must be wild.
they're pretty big. I mean, I guess a black bear is big, but the grizzly bear. And I never want to see that animal standing in two legs because I will probably freak out. But yeah, it is something else for sure.
Yes. You were also going to share with us the journey through the Icefield Parkway. Tell us about that.
Yeah, and I don't know if I have a picture on that. Let me check here. I don't, but yeah, I can tell you guys. So, like I said, Banff is one of the parks. The other one, it's Jasper National Park. So to get to Jasper or to get to Banff, there's the Icefields Parkway Highway. So it connects those two, parks, towns, and it's amazing because the highway goes for a long time, and so you get to, you can stop as much as you want. They have a lot of lookouts, so you get to see the mountains, a lot of wildlife as well. um, like there's no like stores or towns or anything in between those two parks.
Oh,
All
wow.
you see is like wildlife, trees, mountains, glaciers, lakes.
Does the
So
scenery change as you go from one to the other, or is it like a steady kind of scenery all around?
I would say it's pretty steady, for sure. But yeah, eventually when you get to when you're going through the highway, you get to the Columbia ice field, and you can walk, you can get out of your car, walk up there, see it. They even used to have a bus where the bus will take you directly to the ice to the glacier, and then you can walk on it. If you want to hear like a tour or somebody tell you the story, they have like guides and all that. So it's quite impressive. It's
that's something
really
that
nice.
I want to put in my bucket list to go to the glaciers.
Yeah, and in fact, because I was trying to write down like some facts or information about this highway, but it goes for 230 kilometers. And like I said, only in between those two parks you'll find this kind of like mini market, convenience store and a gas station. But you have to make sure, and then of course, along the highway they have like outhouses if you need to do anything, right? But it's all like nature. So you have to come prepared that make sure you have enough gas, and if you need any snack or whatever, because you won't find any restaurants along that that stretch.
Yes.
But I think it's something that people like should do. To me, it's one of the best road trips, getting to see those 2 points and how they connect. It's just beautiful. Really, really nice, for sure.
I can only imagine.
Yeah.
How many hours is it from each other?
Well, I will say at least, and I could be wrong, but I will say 5 hours you're looking.
So it's not that
like
bad.
Yeah, maybe something around there. I guess if you go in the winter, and you have to be cognizant about that, sometimes they shut down the roads, depending on how much snow we're getting, if the highway is super icy, and that when the temperatures go down, it's quite dangerous, so they do kind of shut it down. But I did it also like a few years ago with my cousin. We actually went through that highway in the middle of winter, and there was like a snowstorm and all that, and it was quite crazy, but we made it safe and sound.
5 miles per hour, probably.
Yeah, you know what? There were times that we were going super, super slow. But yeah, if you go in summer, less dangerous. And at the same time, it allows you to stop more frequently and take some beautiful pictures, take in all the scenery. Totally worth it. Very nice.
Very cool. And then when you get to Jasper National Park, is it similar to Banff, or how is it different?
You know what? I'll say that Jasper is a little bit different from Banff. It gets less visitors, like less crowds. They do have restaurants and hotels and all that. However, I wouldn't say you don't get to see the crowds that you will see in Banff. So if you're looking for something more relaxing, I will suggest you go to Jasper. And I do have here, I can share with you guys.
Yes, show us everything. I want to see.
Can you see the slide?
You have to share the screen.
Okay. And here it is.
Yes.
So this is Jasper. No. So that is Jasper. That is actually called Maling Lake. I love this area. It's a little bit, it's not within, like you get to the town of Jasper. So Jasper has a town as well. And like I said, it has stores and hotels, restaurants and all that. Less, traffic, less crowds. And as you drive further from Jasper, you can follow, directions to get to this place, Maling Lake. The road to get to the lake is beautiful. And in all the years that I've been actually going to this place, I have spotted so many black bears, elk, moose, etc. So it is really nice.
Mhm.
You know, the
Serena was asking about the moose, if you have seen any moose.
yes, I have. In fact, in my backyard, I've seen moose.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, there was one year that
Do you run away, or like how are people supposed to react to it?
well, usually you shouldn't like, you know, overreact because I think the animal is more afraid of you than you are, you know, of them.
Mm-hmm.
But nonetheless, my reaction when I see wildlife, I just try to act as calm and, you know, cool,
Mm-hmm.
collected as possible.
Non-threatening.
Exactly. Um, but you know, it's also recommended that you carry with you some bird spray, like especially if you go hiking.
Mm-hmm.
You know, if it's front country, you know, hiking, I don't know that you're gonna run into too much wildlife because usually there's like either paved or gravel trails.
Mm-hmm.
But definitely, if you're going back country, like hiking, then chances are that you're gonna run into more wildlife. So it's always advised to carry with you like a bell, you know, to make some noise or keys, etc. Even to be talking with people and like if you want to carry some music with you. However, I think just carrying that bell helps a lot. And then having bear spray just in case, because you never know. Unfortunately, some people sometimes they feed wildlife, which puts the wildlife at risk. They feel less intimidated by humans, and so they could be, you know, it's likely that they will be or they could attack a human being.
Mm-hmm.
So we always carry like bear spray just in case. We haven't had to use it, even during my grizzly encounter.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, you will see wildlife. Moose, you know, that time is actually kind of a funny story because it was a night, and you know, I live, so it's called Parkland County,
Mm-hmm.
and it's kind of the, I will say it's kind of the, yeah, it's the country, still close to the city, but a lot of nature, etc. So it was a night and my dog was barking and barking. And then I saw this, you know, long legs and I thought, oh, that's a horse. But no, it wasn't a horse. It was actually a moose. And the moose decided to spend the whole night in our backyard. Um, Eventually, it took off because our property backs into a farmer's field. So eventually the moose took off. But yeah, thankfully I didn't approach, you know, the animal thinking it was a horse because it was not.
Wait, why would you think there was a horse in your backyard?
Well, like I said, I live in the country, so you get to see a lot of cattle here, horses.
Okay,
Yes,
okay.
so that's why. I mean, anything is possible in Canada. Uh, yeah, so it's quite funny, but no, I haven't had a bad experience, you know, with animals yet,
Mhm.
thankfully, and I hope it stays that way for many years to come.
Yes, absolutely.
But yeah, I guess going back to Maling Lake, it's a beautiful lake, and in fact, you can actually take a boat tour that will take you to Spirit Island, which is one of the most photographed places in Canada and in the world. And I'm sure you
Wow.
guys have seen it. So this is Spirit Island, and you
Spirit.
know that Spirit Island.
Wow. Why is it the most photographed?
That's a good
Do
question.
they have spirits there? Or is that why it's called spirit?
La Isla de los Espíritus. You know what? That's a good question. I think like this picture, it was a kind of a foggy day. Plus, we had a lot of wildfires that year, so you couldn't see the mountains the way that they normally, you know, look. But yeah, I guess that's a good question. Um, I don't know why people like photograph this place so much, but I mean, I guess I could see why. It has so much beauty and it's remote. And then, you know, after taking that experience, whether you decide to canoe through the lake, which I didn't do myself, I just took, you know, the boat and the boat took me there. But it is kind of a magical place. And then that's really not an island, but it, depending on the water level, then sometimes if it goes up, then you can see you know, it kind of becomes an island. So definitely it's one of the spots that people tend to photograph a lot, visit a lot. But again, you will experience a lot of crowds. From my own like experience, I think it's been quite good that way. But it's lovely. It's very, very nice.
I love that you can kayak there. Like I see the or canoe.
You can even camp. I know some people that usually canoe and then they get to another, I guess there's kind of an area where you can camp overnight.
Okay.
Again, if you feel brave enough and if you're into camping, it's a great way again to connect with the nature and kind of stay away from hustle and bustle and all that. So I haven't done it myself. I don't know about wildlife, and it's pretty remote, so I'd rather not chance it. Yes. But yeah, you can take a boat tour. They have different times that you can go through the entire day, and definitely in summer, right? They don't have it in winter. Yes. But yeah, summer, it's I will say it's one thing that if you come to Jasper, make sure that you go on that boat tour.
How cold does it get in the winter, and how warm does it get in the summer?
Ooh, in the winter, it's pretty aggressive. I mean, sometimes here in Alberta, I've seen the temperature drop to minus 40 degrees. And I don't know what that translates, to Fahrenheit, but yeah, minus 40 degrees. And sometimes with the wind chill, if you factor that in, it gets pretty cold.
It feels cold. You're just you saying
it. You know what? I'm not gonna lie. Yes, it does get pretty cold. To the point that sometimes, even if you cover your face, but you cannot cover your eyes, your eyelashes in a matter of seconds can freeze. So you get kind of like pedacitos de hielo en las pestañas. Yes, literally.
That is so surreal.
Yes.
So if someone is traveling during the winter times, like for example, I went to Quebec in the winter time, but I'm not sure if that's as cold as being by the mountains in Alberta. So what kind of like clothing do you recommend people bring?
I will say for sure a good parka. Like if you have a good parka, that's gonna keep you warm. Good pair of shoes like boots that are properly insulated. That's gonna make your life easier. Having insulated under like layers. So if you can get some thermal clothing, be it leggings or a shirt. Also the proper mittens, because sometimes people, they just buy this kind of not cheap, but make sure that whatever you're wearing is going to protect you, because it's not about the looks, but it's making sure that you're well protected, because if you get frostbite, it only takes seconds for that to happen, and it's something that you definitely don't want to experience. I've heard stories. So if you come in the winter months, definitely do bring your parka, good shoes, good mittens, and some thermal clothing just to be comfortable. And if you have several like layers of clothing, you can always remove them. But if you don't have enough, then that's definitely an issue. So
yes, definitely. Wow. I need to get ready because I want to visit in winter, because I want to see how different it is. And my goal is to eventually go to Antarctica. So I think going to Canada will be like the training to go into Antarctica.
if you come here, Vane, yes, we'll take you for a tour, and definitely do. I think it's going to prepare you for that level of temperature. Yeah. I actually have a friend, she lives in the Northwest Territories, and the temperatures there even get worse. They go down to, I think she's told me, like minus 50 sometimes, and because that's the subarctic. Yeah. So it's, I cannot even imagine. But for me, like being here, and the prairies can get pretty cold. When I have experienced the minus 30, at some point you don't feel like your body. And you have to quickly find a way to warm up, or if you're waiting for the bus, maybe go into a store to warm up. Or they sell like these packages. Then they're called hotties, and you can just put them, inside your mittens and things like that, or your shoes to keep you warm. But yeah, I think with winter, if you have the proper clothing, you'll be fine. I mean, me being from Costa Rica, I've been able to survive after so many years. So definitely do invest in that, and you'll see the difference for sure.
Absolutely. Thank you for sharing that. Is that your doggy?
That's my doggy. That's Charlie. And in fact, he's also an expat. He came from Panama.
Oh, very
Yeah,
cool.
it used to be my mom's dog, and now he's our family dog. So, but yeah, that's Smelling Lake, as I mentioned. That picture was taken a few years ago, and I think it was around the spring. So you can see that there's still like some like frost over the lake, a lot of snow up, the mountains. So, but it's such a nice area. You can go for walks. If you don't want to take the boat tour, you can go for walks around the lake. They also have like a cafeteria if you want to have something to warm up. Even in the summer, sometimes it's still a little bit cool. When you're in the mountains, it's always cooler. So I will recommend that just make sure that you have extra layers that you can always take off. But there's nothing worse than being cold, and that's not nice. They also have a lot of rentals if you like, to go. If you want to go canoeing, etc. I don't know, for a swim it might be a push because the water is pretty cold. Yeah. I mean, it's coming from glaciers, so I've tried the water like with my hands, and that's enough reason to not go in there. But even like Canadians, you don't really see them going in. I think British Columbia tends to have, like, in terms of water, the temperature might be less cooler, but here in Alberta, for sure, the lakes usually stay pretty cold around the mountains. So if you're brave enough, good for you, but I personally wouldn't recommend it.
Some people do the polar plunge.
Yes.
So if you're into that, then that's perfect.
Yeah, no, I'm not a polar bear. And see, that's another, in Jasper, they have now this, it's called a skywalk. So it's like this glass platform that you can walk on top, and then you see the valley. I think it's called the Sanguapta Valley. And, you can spot wildlife from time to time. I only did it once because they had just opened. But I think too, equally, if you go for a hike, you will get to see as much as if you were to pay to go into the skywalk. But if you're into that, it might be something that you want to do and see. They have a lot of packages too when you arrive here in Alberta that they offer you. You can go on the gondola, you can go on a boat tour, or you can go see a glacier for X amount of dollars. So you can definitely build your activities, customize that based on what interests you. So that's also things that you can do. So that's a bear. That's a black bear in Jasper. And that's the road that I was telling you about. If you come from Jasper and you drive to Smelling Lake, usually that road you will always spot animals of some sort. Bighorn sheep, moose, or elk. Black bears, I've never seen a grizzly bear there, but definitely black bears. You see them walking. And even sometimes people stop to take pictures and they don't even care. They just keep doing their own thing. So it's pretty funny.
What is, if we want to go to Alberta, what is the nearest airport?
If you go to Alberta, so you can fly to Edmonton, the Edmonton International Airport. If you want to come to Jasper, so probably if you fly to Edmonton might be easier because Jasper is closer to Edmonton. It takes about 3 hours, 2 hours 45, 3 hours to get there. If you want to go to Banff, that's closer to Calgary, so you can fly to Calgary. But you know what? Either way, you can always, fly to Calgary and then do a loop, drive around, come, go to Jasper, come to Edmonton, etc. Do a loop, and then get back to the Calgary airport. So, yeah. So as you can see, other like bighorn sheep along the highway. Again, you see so many animals. I'm used to other types of animals in my country. Costa Rica, you see monkeys and iguanas,
Mhm.
etc. Here in Canada, you see all these different types of animals. So I'm fascinated with photography and
Mhm.
animals. So um, I usually take more pictures of animals than of myself when I'm visiting places.
Yes. I met a guy who he said he's not a photographer, but he says he loves to see to do animal watching. So he says I will stay in one area for 3 days just to see what I can see in 3 days. Is that how you are? Like, do you stay in a stationary place just to see what kind of animals come across? Or
Not
do you like travel and whatever comes across you see?
It's more like whatever comes across, but I usually I'm pretty lucky in that. Well, if I'm hiking, my chances of seeing something are higher.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but no, I mean, what I do like to do is camping, go camping. And it's something that I would recommend to people. If you come to Canada, you got to try it. And you can rent yourself an RV and maybe go tour around Canada or a particular province or whatever places are of interest. It's great. I think if you don't want to use a tent, if tenting is not your thing, then you can do sort of glamping, so renting an RV, and that's kind of nice.
I like that.
Yeah, and then have a fire at night, and again connecting with the nature, and going for hikes. Usually the campgrounds here, I will say, in Alberta are pretty good, both the federal campgrounds but also the provincial ones.
Mhm.
um, they have facilities, showers, flushing toilets. They also have the outhouses. They have water, power. Even if you want to go camping and you say, well, you know what, I want to have some power and water, you can hook up your RV to that, to make it more of a comfortable experience if you're not used to tent, yeah, go tenting.
Mhm.
But no, for me, most of the pictures that I've taken are pictures of when I'm camping and I go for a day walk, then I spot something, and that's that. But yeah, I know some people that bird watchers that will stay in a specific area to spot like birds. Yeah, no, that's not for me, but
For
but
me either. I can't keep calm, like they say. I need
yeah,
to
no,
be moving.
exactly, yes. And what else? The other thing
You were going
too,
to talk about the Badlands, right?
yes. Just one thing that I was going to mention about Jasper and Banff and the Rockies, you'll encounter a lot of hot springs. So if you're into hot springs, relaxing, and they're so affordable, like for $5, $6, you can go in and stay there as
Oh.
much as you want. However, because the temperatures are pretty high, you come in, go into the cold pool, and then go back to the hot pool, and so on. But it's so nice, and then you have the mountains, so it's magical. It's like literally the background that you have, behind you, like it is amazing. There you are in the hot spring and looking at them. And so if in Banff, it's called the Banff Hot Springs, and in Jasper you can find the Mayette Hot Springs.
Mhm.
And again, super nice and pretty affordable. And if you're tired after a day of sightseeing, walking, hiking, whatever you're doing, it's a nice way to end the day,
Wow.
followed by a glass of wine.
Uh-huh. Exactly.
Yes.
Does Canada produce any wines?
Yes. If you go to British Columbia, our neighbors to the west, they have beautiful vineyards that you can go there for tours, walk around. They have wine tasting, just very nice. I highly recommend too. If British Columbia is beautiful, Vancouver, Victoria, and then even going to the southern part of the province where they have the vineyards and the orchards, and very, very nice. It's like I said, I haven't had the chance to be all over Canada, but it's a province that, because it's so close, we get the chance to go. So highly, highly recommend for sure. And I do want to show you the Badlands. So I'm going to share this with you guys. So here they are. So the Badlands are, you know, these things you see here, they're, you know, rock formations. And I guess many years ago, well, this is called Drumheller, so that's the town. And you'll find here the Dinosaur Provincial Park, the Badlands, and yeah, the story is that many years ago, dinosaurs lived in Drumheller, lived in this area, and today you can find the fossils. So it is pretty interesting. In fact, the town is known as the town of dinosaurs. And when you come in, when you arrive there, you will see this huge dinosaur. And actually, this dinosaur now is being restored, but you actually could go up the dinosaur inside.
Really?
And then you could see the town. Yeah.
That's so cool.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. I mean, you see a lot of kids there, but even for adults,
I am a little kid at heart, so I do all that.
Exactly. No, it's pretty nice. But yeah, so if you come here, Drumheller, the scenery is so different from the mountains. The temperature is pretty hot. And then you see this hoodoos, you can actually climb up, you know, go up to the top of the kind of like the foothills, or not foothills, but little mountains, pequeñas montañas. And it's so nice. There's a lot of history in this area, and definitely if you're interested in fossils, dinosaurs, they have an amazing museum. It's called the Royal Tyrrell Museum, and you know, you can see the history of the Badlands. You can learn more about the hoodoos, which are rock formations, and just learn about the presence of dinosaurs in our province. So I personally like it. I know that, you know, you see a lot of people at that museum. It's open again. Initially, it was closed because of the, you know, crisis, pandemic, and so on. Mm-hmm. But I believe it's open again to the public. So it's a very nice area. And, you know, such a different contrast going from the mountains, then you see the prairies, and then you see the Badlands. So I definitely recommend going there. And again, a lot of outdoor activities, a lot of restaurants, a lot of hotels, campgrounds, etc. So very, very nice.
That's so cool. Do they have any restaurants that have a view of it?
No, because that's like this area that you see here, that's more like the park. Mm-hmm. But I mean, even when you go to the town, you know, you get to see some of it, but not really. Yeah, you wouldn't get to see like, or have a restaurant that is in front of this place per se. They do have a lot of cool, like little, I guess, diners and even like pubs from back in the day, so you feel like in a Western movie. Yes. I remember going to one where they had holes in the walls from like back in the day from bullets, and it is kind of interesting. They haven't really restored the place. I can't remember the name right now, but it is a pretty well-known like spot within that town. So I can get back to you on the name. Mm-hmm. In fact, let me see maybe if I can find it. But
and then, so this is Drumheller.
Yes, that's Drumheller.
Mm-hmm. I wrote something totally different. I had written Joan Heller.
Yeah, that one you might not find.
Exactly.
Yeah, and I guess the other spot too. I love
this
place.
You went. This is where you went camping, right?
Yes, Kananaskis. It's actually not in Banff, and it's before you get to Banff. You'll see the exit to go to Kananaskis country. There is a provincial park, so an Alberta park called Peter Lockheed Provincial Park, and it's just amazing. I mean, well, one thing that you have to be prepared for is that you won't have any cell reception. So if you value being connected all the time, to be it social media or anything else, then beware of that. However, if you go to the town, so it has like a little village, you'll have cell reception. But if you're camping at any of the campgrounds within that provincial park, you won't have any cell reception. I personally loved it because it's just good to disconnect yourself. We're so connected to media sometimes, and just getting that break, I think it's necessary to just to reset ourselves.
Yeah.
But it is amazing. I mean, this is a Roslyn Lake, so you have to take a hike about 8 kilometers, but it's pretty steep because you're going up and up and up. In some places, you actually have to cross like some streams. There's still snow. When I went in June, there was still snow melting. But when you get to the top, there's a Roslyn Lake, and it sits in between all these, peaks, and it's beautiful, like very, very nice. In fact, I sat there. I had like some like snacks with me, and just to sit there and listen to the the wind and birds, and it's very magical experience, I will say. Easy way to relax. And yeah, there's just so many hikes that you can do. For me, I stayed there for a week, and every day I was doing a hike. There was one that actually goes around the upper lake. I think it's called the Upper Lake Kananaskis. And it's like 15 kilometers. Yeah, about 15, 16 kilometers. So it takes you, quite a few hours for sure. But it's so nice. Again, you get to see a lot of like wildlife, lots of lakes along the way, streams, etc. So it's a place that I will recommend people to definitely visit.
Yeah.
There's also like a Nordic spa. So if you are looking for that kind of experience of an outdoor spa, where they have, again, kind of like hot pools and massages and all that.
You're speaking my language.
It's actually, I haven't been there, but I heard that it's super nice. And I mean, think about having a massage or being in a spa in the middle of, I guess the mountains. It's probably, something else. So I will let you know if and when I do it, or maybe when you come here and you do it, tell me.
So we go together. Absolutely.
Exactly. Yeah, it's very nice. So yeah, I don't know if like any questions or
if you guys have any questions, please, you can unmute yourself, or you can write it on the chat. Anything you want to know about traveling to Canada, specifically the Alberta region. Is that how you both say, or province? Is that how you say it, Marisol?
The what?
Is it the Alberta province or region?
Yeah, Alberta province. Yeah, because we do have provinces here in Canada. I had to get used to that when I came to Canada, because in the States, well, you have states, right? But here they call it provinces, like in my country too, provincias. So,
what other areas of Canada have you traveled to?
The other area, like I said before, was British Columbia. And I think I do have maybe some pictures here that I can share with you guys. Let's see. Do we have time, Vanessa? You tell me.
We have a couple of minutes. What is that?
Oh, that I shouldn't forget, the Calgary Stampede, which happens every year in the summer. This year, of course, all the festivals. So I can tell you this much: if you come to Canada, there's always festivals. At least in Alberta, Edmonton, Calgary, there's always a different festival happening. There's one called Heritage Days, which celebrates cultures and nationalities. So they have national costumes, presentations, food from every country. So it's really, really nice. It brings all the cultures together for 3 days.
That is
Um,
beautiful.
yeah, it is wonderful. And I always love, you know, I love being able to share with some other cultures, but also seeing the Latino community. You know, seeing countries like Guatemala always has a booth, Nicaragua, El Salvador, con pupusas,
Wow.
Colombia, etcétera. Costa Rica no tiene, no tiene un booth. He
You have
pensado
to
muchas
sign. You have to sign up.
he pensado, pero there's so many people going to that festival that you have to be so well prepared to make sure you have enough food, because you're supposed to offer food and have music and presentations and all that. But maybe someday. The
Is the
Costa Rican,
Latino community large there?
it is. A lot of people from Mexico, a lot of people from Colombia, Venezuela.
Wow.
Yes, so it is large. Costa Rican community, yeah, there's some Costa Ricans here, but it's not as, you know, some other cultures. It's fairly significant, you know, the amount of people that you see. So, but it's nice because then you have different kinds of restaurants, and that is lovely. But yeah, the Calgary.
Is the food from your country accessible there? Because I remember when I moved to California, I couldn't find plantains, the green plantains to make mango.
Yeah.
I was like, I don't know if I can live here.
You know what? Yeah, initially it was a struggle because I remember sometimes going to the grocery store and cilantro, el culantro,
Uh-huh.
they used to label that as parsley, or, you know, or vice versa. So many times I did buy thinking it was cilantro and it turned out to be parsley.
And it
uh,
doesn't taste the same at all.
no, it does not. Or yeah, you're right. One of the things that I missed at the beginning, but then, you know, I learned how to season my food to kind of give that flavor and color. Something we use, and I don't know if you guys use it, achote.
Mm-hmm.
So I couldn't find achote, and I remember telling the lady at the store, do you know if you have achote? And she's like, what? I said achote, and yeah, no, forget it.
What, did you order it from someone?
No, I was like, I'm just gonna use curry because I'm not. But good thing too, after I settled here, came across a couple of stores. So I go to my tienda latina, that's the name, and that's where I get my ducal beans, which I always need to have. I love those beans. My tortillas, you know, everything that it's, you know, near and dear to my heart, that kind of takes me back home.
Yes.
But I guess Costa Rican food is pretty simple. So we eat like rice and beans, some sort of meat. You know, you would have a salad. So it isn't too complicated. So I didn't know how to cook before, but now I can get away. I wouldn't say I'm a chef, but I can definitely get away, you know, with cooking some stuff. So yeah, if you do come to Alberta, make sure that if you want to try the Calgary Stampede, it's amazing. I think it
When
goes
is
for.
it?
It's in July.
Okay,
I'm
so
sure
it's the
it's
summer.
July.
So that's good.
Yes. Let me check, but I think it usually runs for 2 weeks. Um, let's see.
Is it always packed, or do you recommend to go at the end or at the beginning?
It's always packed.
It's always
Honestly,
packed.
honestly, like that event, and not also people from Alberta going there from other areas of the province, but also people from across Canada and beyond that, outside of Canada as well. Especially people that are into, you know, that are into the, I guess, agribusiness, or, you know, love horses. You know, there's a lot of cowboys. Um, I guess I see Alberta sometimes as kind of the Texas of Canada.
Oh,
Um,
okay.
so yeah, there's a lot of cowboys, cowgirls, but the Calgary Stampede is very nice. You know, if you're into that, if you're into cattle, if you're into exhibitions, chalk wagons, races, etc., then for sure check it out. And they have international concerts as well, and a lot of young food. Like you'll find so much junk food in there, and every restaurant bar, usually they have their own like little show and special like prices, discounts. So it's something to see at least once.
Mm-hmm.
Just be prepared,
Where do you
for the
recommend
crowds.
we stay if we're going to like this event or even the Heritage Day? Like what area?
If you come to the Heritage Days, you can just stay like Edmonton downtown, or even, you know, right now with Airbnb, there's so many good options. If you don't want to, go to a hotel,
Mm-hmm.
if you want to kind of settle yourself more, then yeah, definitely to look into an Airbnb. But just around the Edmonton area, I'll say you can stay downtown or even around the west area, because then it's easier to get there. And if you're coming to Calgary, then just stay, downtown, because again, you're going to be so close to shows or to the restaurants, and if you want to take in the full experience, and then that way you don't have to be driving back and forth. So for sure, if you stay downtown and then you take the C train, and the C train takes you directly to the Stampede Park,
Mm-hmm.
so it's very nice.
Excellent.
And I guess last but not least, I didn't mention that the other place I've been in the other province here in Canada is British Columbia.
Mm-hmm.
And British Columbia, it's just beautiful province, lots to do. For sure, if you're into wine, there's a lot of vineyards, orchards. You can even go pick some fruit. Um, Beautiful lakes as well. So it is kind of a like different experience if you're into wine tasting, and all that. It's very nice. Um, a lot of, again, a lot of wildlife as well, scenery. Um, if you're into that, for sure. This actually was in Nelson. Nelson is it's in BC. You have to take some ferries to actually get there, but
Mm-hmm.
it's such a laid back town. Very, very good food. We stay at a campground because every time we go on a road trip, we're usually, staying camping. We don't go to hotels.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and then from there, we just go whatever we want. We just research, what's popping, what's happening in that town, and then we kind of go from there. But yeah, we spent one summer, I think it was for one of the Canada Days, and they have beautiful fireworks over this bridge in Nelson. Pretty like hip, kind of hippie-ish town. So very nice, very laid back. So, and
Awesome.
that's Nelson. So yeah, I mean, there's so many places, like I said, Vane. I think Canada is such a huge country, and I'm hoping that with what it's going on right now, it might create an opportunity to maybe, take a road trip or do something along those lines, because obviously we can really go anywhere else right now. So it's a good opportunity to explore what you have in your own country, support local businesses, local tourism, and share that with with the expat community, Latino community,
Yeah,
other communities. So yeah.
absolutely. And we're looking forward for the borders to open and
Yes,
everything to calm down so we can travel again.
I know. I don't know. I think it's been postponed again till September, October. I can't remember
Yeah, it's
anymore.
better to be safe. So,
Yes.
but we
Yeah.
are looking forward for when it opens.
Yes.
Of
Be
course.
ready there with your backpack to take off, your bags to go.
Exactly. And now that I did this road trip, I now love it even more. Like being able to just grab a car and go.
Yes. Were you driving a van or a
No,
car?
we
Like
have
what?
a like a SUV, like
Yeah.
the small ones, not small, but not the
Yeah.
big ones. And that was perfect. We had a lot of room in the back to have
That's
our
perfect.
neverita con bebidas, the hielo,
Yes.
some snacks and stuff. Yeah.
That's awesome. Yeah, no, I think road trips, sometimes I know people hate, oh, it takes so much time to get there, but you enjoy that experience. Um, you remember it way more than when you fly straight
Yeah.
to a place. But
Because you get to see so much more.
yeah,
You get to
absolutely.
stop every little step of the way and
And to appreciate.
absorb. Uh-huh.
and then you take a picture and then you remember, oh yeah, that's right, that happened. And it's good, right? But if you don't have a lot of time, then sometimes flying is the way to go. But again, with everything happening in our world today, let's just take that opportunity to do more road trips and
Yes.
get to know more places.
Absolutely. We're actually having a trip to upstate, the Catskills area in New York.
Oh yes,
Because
I think I was
like, let us explore our own backyards. We are already here. New York is relatively safe right now, as long as you keep social distancing, you wear a mask, you wash your hands, put hand sanitizer. I think you will be okay.
Yeah.
You know, so I was like, let's take, you know, this opportunity to plan this trip for us to get to meet.
Yeah, no, that's a great opportunity for sure. So let's make the best of it. In fact, even from Costa Rica, there's many areas that I haven't seen yet, because sometimes you have your favorites too and you keep on going to the same spots over and over. But yeah, this is a good opportunity just to go and look more within the places where we live. For sure.
And I definitely want to go to Banff, so I'm gonna call you when I go.
Yes, you call me when you come here. I'll have the moose ready for you. Moose ready, grizzly bear there for you for a photo op. So let me just call them.
Well, you're an experienced one, so it would be great because I don't know anything about that.
Yeah, no. Well, I remember when we had a few friends from Costa Rica come in and we went for a hike, and we told them, oh yeah, do we have bear spray? And we were kind of going over the list of things that we needed to have, and they're like, are you serious? Like, are you kidding? And we're like, no, there's bear spray. And you actually, when you buy it, you have to give your full name because it's a weapon.
Yeah.
So when you go to the store, you have to give your name, and you have to give the barcode, a bunch of stuff, because it's registered. So, but I'll make sure I have the bear spray ready for you, and hopefully we don't have to use it. But
they did tell us in Yosemite that most of the time you don't use it because they don't necessarily come to attack you if you like don't look threatening, but that is like the last resort, like if you use it.
Exactly. And sometimes they tell you, stand up straight, high, and then try to appear bigger than the bear, but that's not to say that it's going to work. So that's why you should always have bear spray with you, just to prevent.
Does it really work though? Like, what
I haven't. I'll have to tell you next time I go camping. I'll have to try it and see if it works, but I hope it does. I don't know what it smells like, but it's supposed to be effective in preventing bears from approaching you and all that. So
I'm still fascinated by the fact that you had a moose in your backyard.
And thinking that it was a horse.
Yes. Did you guys have any questions? Please make sure you put them in the chat if you do. Marisol, this was a great presentation. I am so happy that you said yes and decided to join us to tell us everything about your home. It's your home. You've been there for 10 years already.
Exactly.
Yes. Thank you so much again. I am really looking forward to visiting that area of Alberta and even the British Columbia, because I've always wanted to go to Victoria and Vancouver as well. So that may be like a road trip right there through all of those provinces.
Just go through here, pick me up on our way there, and then.
Yes, absolutely.
No, thank you, Anna. This is an amazing space, I think, to share experiences with other, not only with the Latino community, but anybody that is following your page. And I think it's just a good way to feel empowered about traveling and moving abroad and seeking those experiences, because we only live once. So
exactly.
Yes.
My goal is to one day move abroad, like live in another country. So let's cross our fingers that I can make it.
Yes, you will.
I mean, for me, it's easy because my job, I can do it from anywhere in the internet.
Yeah.
That will just depend on my husband. But he has lived in already 5 different countries.
Oh, there you go. So
he came back home because he wanted to be home. So it's a matter of convincing him, do you want to go back out?
Yeah, just tell him it's only fair. I deserve to go and live in another country too.
Right. Yes.
No, that this is great, Vane. Thank you so much, and for the people that attended,
Mhm.
and I guess we'll
Absolutely.
stay
Thank
tuned
you,
to Latino
everyone.
World Travelers.
Absolutely. And we're going to have many more episodes. We have one about Argentina coming up. We have Belgium, Uruguay as well, someone from Bolivia, someone Ghana, Guatemala. So we're trying to cover all the countries to show people, look, Latinos are out there traveling,
Yes.
follow their footsteps, and sharing these resources that you're sharing gives the people the tools, like, oh, these are the places that I can go, this is how I can navigate that country and not feel scared about
Yes,
going out there. So
exactly. Because
thank you,
sometimes
Joshua, and
we establish obstacles, barriers for ourselves, and we're capable of doing so much more. We just have to be open, and take a risk. And you never know, it might become, after going somewhere, it might become your home forever and ever after that. So you have to take the chance and just go see the world. There's so much out there to see.
there is
So
really so
yeah.
much. Chat said we are adopting a moose.
Somebody wants to adopt a moose. You know what? I'm gonna go back, and I do have some pictures of the moose. In fact, we had several like moose come by our property, because our property backs, so it's an acreage and it backs into a farmer's field. So I'm gonna look for those pictures, and Chad, if you want to see those pictures of the moose, then they'll be posted on my page, and I'll share them with Vanessa too if she wants.
Yes, it's underscore the expat diaries. That is her name in Instagram. So make sure you follow her. Serena said, "Oh, we're gonna name him Horsey."
Horsey, yes, caballito.
That is too funny.
That's so funny. Now you guys are gonna remember me as the moose lady.
Yes, I mean, your dog was amazing because he was able to, like, right now know exactly there is something out there.
Something's going on. But yeah,
Yes.
it was such a funny thing when it happened.
Thank you so much for being here, and your mom too, Diala.
Yes,
Thank
there's
you
my
for
mom
being here
there.
too.
There's also my cousin there, David.
David, bienvenido. Gracias por estar aquí. And
Yeah.
it was a pleasure.
No, thank you. This was amazing, and so I look forward to continue, being part of the Latino World Travelers community, and to seeing more episodes from
Yay!
around the world. Thank you, Vane.
Excellent. Thank you. Have a beautiful evening. Y nos hablamos.
You too.